A war of words between the U.S. and Israel after Secretary of State John Kerry's speech on his vision for peace in the Middle East sparks outrage. CBS 2's Andrea Grymes has more.
The dueling speeches between two allies began this morning with U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry.
We cannot properly defend and protect Israel if we allow a viable two-state solution to be destroyed before our own eyes.
Kerry called for peace between the Israelis and Palestinians in a 70-minute address in Washington. He defended the United States' commitment to Israel, but also defended the U.S. against backlash over last week's UN Security Council vote. The U.S. did not use its veto power to stop a resolution, calling Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem a violation of international law.
If more and more settlers are moving into the middle of Palestinian areas, it's going to be just that much harder to separate, that much harder to imagine transferring sovereignty. And that is exactly the outcome that some are purposefully accelerating.
Just over an hour after Kerry finished, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded, calling Kerry's speech almost as unbalanced as last week's anti-Israel UN resolution.
What he did was to spend most of his speech blaming Israel for the lack of peace by passionately condemning a policy of enabling Jews to live in their historic homeland and in their eternal capital, Jerusalem.
The Obama administration and others have criticized Israeli settlement activity as an obstacle to peace. Israel has long cited biblical and political connections to the land, along with security concerns. The Palestinians have called on Israel to end settlement construction.
Mr. Netanyahu knows very well that he has the choice, settlements or peace. He can't have both.
Today, Jerusalem City Hall postponed a vote on applications to build nearly 500 new homes for Israelis in East Jerusalem. President-elect Donald Trump has signaled that relations with Israel will improve under his administration. This morning, he sent out a series of tweets, writing, quote, "Doing my best to disregard the many inflammatory President O statements and roadblocks. Thought it was going to be a smooth transition. Not. We cannot continue to let Israel be treated with such total disdain and disrespect. They used to have a great friend in the U.S., but not anymore. The beginning of the end was the horrible Iran deal, and now this, UN. Stay strong, Israel, January 20th, is fast approaching." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tweeted back, quote, "President-elect Trump, thank you for your warm friendship and your clear-cut support for Israel."
Secretary of State Kerry also called out the Palestinians in his speech, including for failing to condemn specific terrorist attacks. The Palestinian president says they're ready to resume peace talks if Israel freezes settlement construction. Live in the newsroom, Andrea Grymes, CBS 2 News.